Update. Am I the a-hole for not watching my husband's kids so he can go on a trip? Original post. When my husband and I met, he made it clear to me that he wasn't looking for someone to be a parent to his children. His kids had two parents already, and he was just looking for someone that he could have a relationship with that could be a positive role model. We dated, got married. Everything was fine. I wasn't allowed to discipline his kids, and I also wasn't responsible for them. His ex had primary custody, and he just had them on the weekends, and typically he spent his time taking them out and stuff. However, his ex died in a car accident last year, so we now have sole custody. I'm fine stepping up and doing more for them. I cook for them, help with homework here and there, etc. He's upset because he never really wanted kids. They're twins, and being a full-time parent sucks. He wants me to do school drop-off so he can get more sleep. But that's not really what I signed up for. He's the one who told me he doesn't want another parent for his kids. Now his friend's bachelor party is next weekend. They're going out of town for the weekend, and he wants me to watch his kids for 3 days. I told him no. I don't want to spend my weekend wrangling two 6-year-olds by myself, who will probably be upset with him gone. They've never been away from both parents before, and they've been extra clingy to him since their mom died. I know they'd probably spend a whole weekend crying, but he thinks I'm a major a-hole because he wants a break and he can never make up missing that weekend. I think he's not being fair to me or his kids. I don't think going golfing and going to his strip club with friends should be more important than your young children. Now for the top comments before reading the update. This is going to be a rough 12 plus years for his family. Poor kids, lost their mom and nobody wants them. It sounds like OP very much does want them, but the dad wants her to stay a glorified babysitter. Not the a-hole. Some of you guys are so damn annoying. I've seen some posts where you bash the heck out of step parents, saying they aren't the kid's parent when they try to be a parent. But now you're doing the opposite. Oh, you were told you aren't allowed to be their parent, and now you have to be. Like, I assume they've been together for a couple years, so this woman was with this dude not allowed to be the kid's parent, and is totally used to that. Then it was suddenly thrown into her that she has to be, and she doesn't want her husband running off for the weekend, with her be stuck with kids that until recently, she wasn't allowed to do even discipline. Give her a break. The dad can stay home and be a parent to his damn kids like he's supposed to be. And the primary custodian of these children died last year, when they were 5. I would be questioning whether this man takes his commitment seriously or not. I didn't want kids anyway. It's just an a-hole thing to say, especially when you're trying to pawn them off on her. Do you know what else he'll never get again? The opportunity to be a good father to a pair of grieving 6-year-olds. Not the a-hole. This is some weird setup. You are a servant, not a partner slash spouse slash equal. I would suggest taking a look at the control and power and the other aspects of your relationship. Who has access and knowledge of finances? And why? I would also suggest therapy. It could be this is just a weird one-off thing and it can be worked out, or a sign of an abusive relationship. We have separate finances. I make a lot more money, and I own our house as premarital asset. I don't think he's typically controlling. He's just insistent that I'm not his children's mother. He constantly reminds me of it. I suggested therapy, but he isn't willing. He thinks therapy is for wimpy teenagers, basically. At this point, I'm starting to give up. Edit/update. A lot of you have said that the way things are currently aren't working. And I agree. To this day, I'm still not allowed to discipline the twins. And the other day, he yelled at them for accidentally calling me mom. It seems like he just wants to keep being the weekend dad and wants me to be the nanny, not their mom. I sat down and had a talk with him this morning about what we want in the future. And he said that he wants me to step up and do more for the kids. I brought up the topic of them possibly calling me mom and me illegally adopting them, because without me adopting them, if we ever divorce, I'll have no rights to seeing them. I don't want to become a parent to kids that I have no rights to. He said that them calling me mom and me adopting them would be disrespectful to his ex's memory. We talked some more, but he absolutely refused. He just wants me to watch them more so he can have more free time. Still can't discipline them. So I told him in that case, I will no longer be doing any childcare for him, and I'll be rethinking our relationship. He's absolutely mad and thinks I'm overreacting. We'll see how it goes, I guess. Now for the full update. Many of you said that the arrangement we had before wasn't working and the children need us to step up and be good parents. And I agreed. My husband, however, wants me to do the childcare chores, school pickups and drop-offs, laundry, making dinner, etc., but won't let the kids call me mom. They've done it on accident and he's yelled at them. He won't let me adopt them and I can't discipline them. I can't even put them in timeout for bad behavior. Basically, he wants me to do the chores to make his life easier, while he's their only real parent. I mentioned to him my concerns, that I don't think it's fair for them to deny them a mother when they obviously want one. I also don't want to build a stronger emotional bond with the children that I have no legal rights to. I couldn't imagine that I become their full-time caretaker, and then we got divorced and I never get to see them again. That wouldn't be fair to me or them. The woes of being a step-parent, I guess. Despite all my concerns, he's not budging. I've told him that in that case, I want a divorce. I contacted a divorce attorney who's a personal friend yesterday, and I was advised to give him 30 days notice to move out before starting an eviction process. The house is mine from before we were married. My husband is mad because I'm the breadwinner, $200K versus $40K, and he can't afford to house his children in the same school district and give them the same quality of life. He wants me to give him my house for the sake of the children, yet I don't think he's ever cared that much about what's best for them. I'm terribly sorry for the kids, that their mom died and their dad sucks as a parent. But I can't resolve myself to be an unpaid babysitter for their sake. It's obvious I wasn't being viewed as an equal partner. I think I'm done dating parents. My cat is done dealing with kids too. This makes me so mad. He wants to play the for the children card but won't even let you and the children bond, throwing in wanting you to be an unpaid nanny and housekeeper. This man is not fit to be a father. He doesn't get to have everything handed to him just because he's a single father. Not the a-hole. The part that got me was she's not even allowed to discipline them. Can you imagine having to watch young twins for days without support, without being allowed to tell them no? No way I would sign up for that. They accidentally called her mom. They love her. She is not the a-hole. This was what broke my heart. Obviously, they are already emotionally attached to her in spite of husband's disapproval. And now they're about to lose another influential adult because their dad is awful at being a parent. Those poor kids. He had a woman who makes 5 times his income who wanted to be a mom to his children, even wanted to adopt them. My God, this man absolutely fumbled this. This is the greatest own goal I've seen in the sub. It's truly shocking, isn't it? When I read that income difference, I think my jaw literally dropped. Like, how freaking dumb do you have to be to look at this situation and say, nah, I'm gonna make my partner's life hell for wanting to be involved. This woman was willing to become a mother to his children, and she basically has all the money and takes care of everything. And he said no? I cannot fathom how stupid this man apparently is. But apparently he doesn't love Opie, and I'm glad she found out now. She deserves better. Guy probably could have quit his job and been a stay-at-home dad, probably end up saving more money than he earned, and helped Opie with house stuff. But nope, he never wanted to care for them in the first place. Lol, give me your house. I hope you told him he's welcome to buzz off. Basically, yes. I was going to help him move out and find a new place, but he's on his own now. Hopefully you don't get stuck paying that bum alimony. It really sucks for his kids. He's such an ass that he cheated them out of a good home. In my state, it's almost impossible to get alimony. You can only get alimony if you were married for many years, and you can prove that you can't meet your basic needs because of the conditions of your marriage. For example, a stay-at-home wife gets divorced at 80 and is too old to work. He has no chance of getting it. Lol. Next story. Am I the a-hole for flipping out on unemployed brother-in-law for eating so much? I, 30 female, have a family of 5, husband and 3 kids, and food cost in today's world for the month could easily $600 to $700. My sister-in-law, husband's sister 43, her husband David 46, and their daughter 12 lost their house due to inflation cost and needed somewhere to go. The only reason I agreed to let them come here was because I morally could not see a child homeless. Sister-in-law works constantly, and David has been unemployed for nearly a year due to a back injury. He has a habit of quitting jobs due to injuries that doctors can't find. Now, the only stipulation we had was that these people were to buy all their own food and eat separately. Because, to be blunt, and yes, I'm going to sound like an ass, they're all obese and eat 3 times what my entire family does, and I cannot afford to feed them. To put it this way, they were getting $740 in EBT up until 6 months ago, and they were still exceeding that budget by 2 times. So, we don't charge them rent, but they do absolutely need to buy their own food, and we made that clear so many times prior to them moving in here 2 months ago. Well, 2 weeks ago I went grocery shopping for my family. I splurged a bit and got my kids 2 times 16-count sausage patties that they like. It's an expensive brand, so they don't get them often. Well, yesterday I noticed that most of the sausage and damn near all the eggs were gone. The big 60-count boxes. I knew I hadn't personally made my kids breakfast with either item more than once, so I asked my husband about it to see if he had, and he said no. I confronted sister-in-law and her husband, and they both swear they hadn't touched our food. But I got up earlier than usual this morning. I don't leave for work until 8, and I was up at 5 a.m. as couldn't sleep. I walked downstairs to the kitchen and found my brother-in-law, the only one awake, cooking up literally 8 eggs and 8 sausage patties. Our food that he swore he wasn't touching. He also has hash browns, biscuits, and sausage gravy, but that was theirs. I immediately flipped out. I knew I wasn't going crazy, but they all made out like I was. Sister-in-law heard a commotion and comes out to see me flipping out on David about eating all of our food, and she immediately came down my throat. In our family, we don't make people feel like crap for eating when they are hungry. I will freaking pay you back. So I held my hand out. Those sausages and eggs cost me almost $40 alone, and he ate all of it. Sister-in-law saying I'm an a-hole and that it's not a big deal. I argued it is. It is a huge deal actually, because I was lied to and he ate so much that my kids now have none. Now for the comments. Not the a-hole whatsoever. You have been nothing but kind to these people. You let them in your house, let them use your facilities, gave them a place to sleep for seemingly rent-free. This isn't a brother-in-law eating too much issue. They messed up by 1, using your stuff that you said not to use, 2, lying about it, and 3, bad-mouthing you in your own house. Screw them. Let them find some other homeowner that will let them live rent-free and bad-mouth themselves. Kick these people out, because who knows what else they will do. I feel bad for the kid, but it is not your problem. Totally agree, not the a-hole. But OP needs to be careful. They've been in your house for 2 months, and depending on the laws in your state, if they stay much longer, they could claim tenants' rights. Tell them they have 1 week to find another place, and that their daughter can stay with you temporarily until they have stable housing. Make it clear that this is the consequence of stealing and lying. This happened to a friend of mine, and it took them many months to evict a couch surfing leech that had convinced them to allow him to stay. Apparently, it's not the first time this has happened. They also had to get locks for their fridge. Never underestimate what entitled and desperate people will do to keep a roof over their head. I'd suggest finding an affordable place to eat out and stop buying as many groceries as you can. You know it's just going to vanish the moment you take your eyes off of it anyways. First of all, congrats on how you handled it. I would have been absolutely raging. Also, why would she think the issue is just the food and not the lying? For me, the food would definitely be an issue too. He was taking 4 meals worth of food in that one sitting from her family. Last story. Am I the a-hole for attaching conditions to my partner becoming a stay-at-home wife? Currently, my partner Amy and I are living together in a home out in the countryside. We live well. I have quite a well-paying albeit stressful job, as does she, and a decent amount of savings. No children, but both of us do plan on having them eventually. We split expenditures 50-50 as it is, same with household chores. To make a long story short, my wife came to me to talk about quitting her job and becoming a stay-at-home wife. She's not super happy at her job and the stress it puts on her. We talked through various solutions, like moving position or company, but she seems pretty settled on wanting to do this. Now, we can afford to do this, should we decide. We'd have to cut our personal spending obviously. I'd pick up a few extra hours since I get good overtime, but it's definitely financially feasible. The thing is, it sounds like it'd be more stress and a good deal less money for me. And much of the things Amy would be doing with all her new free time just isn't making my life any easier. Mainly, she wants to work on fixing up the grounds, growing various flowers and stuff, which admittedly would be a pretty big endeavor. But I like the grounds as they are, perfectly content with it. So it seems pretty unfair for me to have to work harder for less money so she can focus time on something that only matters to her. It'd be up the property value, I'm sure, but I don't even plan on selling. Even with her taking on most of my chores, it'd be more work for me where she takes all the benefit. So, I'd ask to set some conditions where she'd take on some of the work I do just for my own benefit. For example, I keep some pet rats that she has no care for that need maintenance. I mix up batches of a variety of cocktails that always takes on a surprising amount of time to do. There's a few weird snacks I make that she hates. That sort of thing. She finds the idea of setting up specific requirements to be quite distasteful. But I know that if we do this and don't lay it out, it'll turn into her spending most of her time on the flowers or reading or painting, and I'll have to come home from work later, poorer, and still have all my personal tasks to do. Don't do anything without the enthusiastic agreement of your partner. So if you can't both agree on what her role would be at home, she shouldn't quit her job. This is the only answer. Don't agree to her quitting. It's very normal to have a daily list of chores that are expected to be done on a daily basis, 2 to 3 times a week, weekly, monthly. We have no kids and don't intend to. It'll last a decade. My partner has stopped working and I'm the only one bringing income. But he does all of the housework, all laundry, all the cooking, shopping, gardening, etc. We are both equally happy with his division. In your case, it sounds like your partner wants to retire early, which is ace for her, but what's in it for you? You are a partnership, so you need to find a compromise that fulfills both of you. Could you both work part-time? Or the partner works at least part-time? Early retirement for one at the cost of the other is just not fair. Very early retirement if they are still planning to have children eventually. This division sounds very one-sided, and if children are in the plans, both should be working at something to ensure that both the parents and the prospective children will have what they need, such as retirement funds, educational funds, miscellaneous things go wrong funds, etc. Further, her hobbies sound very relaxing. Nothing wrong with that, but lowered income and children is very stressful. This idea needs much more discussion and conversation about expectations and eventual goals.